When they trade bloods, what's poppin'? Ray Leon Rivera, 721, what's poppin'? Ladybug, what's up, babe? Salute. D Mons, what's poppin'? Peace, bro. Salute. Irish Patty Ma, hey yo. Boss Dog 97, salute, salute. Boss Dog 97 all the time, you already know. I rap 152, salute. Facts, VOE, stretch money. I gotta get at you too. I saw it in my DM. Ray Leon Rivera, dímelo. Yo, Ali. What's poppin'? Salute. Punch that like button on your way in. Let them know you in the building. That was from Uptown. What's poppin'? I got you. Facts, Iraq. Ya tú sabes. Ray Leon Rivera. I got you. Oh yeah, you already know. What Dominican you know don't sip. J Dub, salute. What's poppin', y'all? More or less, I just came from school. Know what I'm saying? So I was gonna do CC Orleans, what's poppin'? Hey, Aviles Manes, salute. Curtis Wortham, salute. Tony Starks, there you go. What's poppin'? Earn Peso, that's a fact. So I was reading something interesting today in the book called Incognito. Right? The book is called Incognito: The Secret Lives of the Brain. It's by David Eagleman. So I was saying to myself, right? When you read a book, you have a conscious regards of your surroundings, but your subconscious is not in tune with the conscious because it's concentrating on making a picture out of what you're reading. And I mean, like I understood that for the longest of time. And I said to myself, I'm like, yo, hold up. that resonates the same thing. Like when you doing time, when you doing time, you go into modes. You go into your subconscious mode to survive. Because if you stay on your conscious mode, you'll just be thinking about everything at a higher level, at a higher pace. It's just going to entrap you. So I was thinking about that. So then I'm reading the book. You know what I'm saying? Because today's chapter was from 21 to 27. So I'm reading the book, and I come on a part of the book that I found pretty interesting. Pilato 978 salute. You know what I'm saying? I saw a part that I saw that was pretty interesting. Um, so I said, yo, let me see what's going on. Know what I mean? So I just want to read the little piece that really caught my attention because I started to relate their understanding of the brain and the consciousness and how that coincides with coping mechanisms. WGK WGKARLRS. Salute, bro. Salute, McConnell. Salute everybody coming in the chat. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Punch that like button on your way in. Weave, what's popping, boy? Salute. So this was the part. This was the part that, you know what I'm saying, really caught my attention. They say neuroscientists weren't the first to discover that placing your eyes on something is no guarantee of seeing it. You know what they said? They said neuroscientists weren't the first to discover that placing your eyes on something is no guarantee of seeing it. Magicians figured this out long ago and perfected ways of leveraging this knowledge. By directing your attention, magicians perform sleight of hand in full view. Their actions should give away the game, but they can rest assured that their brain processes only small bits of the visual scene, not everything that hits your retinas. That's deep right there. They said this fact helps to explain the colossal number of traffic accidents which drivers hit pedestrians in plain view, collide with cars directly in front of them, and even intersect unluckily with trains. In many of these cases, the eyes are in the right place, but the brain isn't seeing the stimuli. Vision is more than looking. This also explains why you probably missed the fact that the word of is printed twice in the triangle on the previous page. So then I looked on the previous page because I was like, yo, what they talking about? And when I looked on the previous page, I'm bugging. Oh, where Brad How's at? So so I was looking at that and I was saying, yo, that's some deep stuff right there because when you look at it, that is a coping mechanism. I know because I used it. You know what I'm saying? I know because I used it. For example, doing 9 years in the shoe, I saw dudes hang up. I saw dudes go crazy. Matter of fact, me and Killer Kev earlier was talking about a comrade of ours that went crazy, lost his mind. I saw dudes that hung up. I mean, I saw mad stuff. You know what I'm saying? So what I did was, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at I'm saying to myself, yo, all the time that I was in the box, what I did was I was reading books like crazy. My number one author in there was Stephen King. And that was because I understood his imagination. A lot of people can't read Stephen King books because they be mad thick. And he's mad descriptive. Because I remember at first when I was mad young, I was reading Donald Goins and I was reading mad other stuff, you heard? But as I matured more and started going into the law, once I got up north and I didn't really have to do the law as much, but just to help other people because I already helped myself. So I knew the time I was gonna do where once I did. And I started to read Stephen King because I love his movies. So I started to read the books. Now, there were times when, for example, if you in the box, like Southpaw, for example, you be in the box and you might have a dude on the side of you that's going crazy. So he just banging on the wall, kicking the toilet, kicking the gate. And I tell you one thing, there's dudes that can do that for hours. There's dudes that can do that for hours. Salute Brad Hauser, what's popping? There's dudes that can kick on that gate for hours. No lie. They'll be kicking and kicking and kicking and kicking and kicking. And you're there like, yo, man, this dude is not going to stop. You already enclosed in the cell for 23 hours a day. You're only coming out early in the morning to go to rec. And if it's a shower day, which is 3 days out the week, you're going to come out, go right to the shower. That's the first cell. And after like 15 minutes, because they had it on timer, the water goes off, you coming out. So you better wash your ass real quick because if not, you're going to come out with suds and all that soap on you. So what I did was I was like, I bet I'm going to change the regular and I'm going to be irregular. So most people are used to sleeping when it's quiet. They need quiet to sleep. What I did was I trained my mind to want noise to sleep. This way, I wake up when they're asleep because now they're tired and I get to read. And I did that for about maybe 3 years out the 9 because what happened was Southpaw got levels to it. So when you get to level 3, then it's quiet up there because the people that's up there, they're dudes that is getting close to leaving or have been there for a while. You know what I'm saying? So, that's basically that's one of them things right there. You got to also remember that while those dudes is kicking and making noise, they're letting off their stress. So I shouldn't be stressed with them. I got to counteract that. You see what I'm saying? So by me having to counteract that, I got to develop a system. And my system was, once he starts banging, I'm going to sleep. Now, when he stops banging and it gets quiet, now I ain't going to feel right and I'm going to wake up. And now I can stay up and read the story, read the book. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what I did. What I did was, and that's what he's talking about in the book. He says a lot of people don't understand the power of the brain because the brain is never utilized to its fullest capacity. They say we really don't know how to use it to its fullest capacity. And those that have, maybe like the Albert Einsteins, as much intelligence they get as it gave them, it also separated them from everyone else. So I say that to say, you know, when you have what's called a coping mechanism, is when you train your mind to be able to withstand what you're going through, so that what you're going through doesn't take over you. And it's bugged out because I seen it take over people. You know what I'm saying? I seen dudes go straight crazy, like my man Nalo, rest in peace. We was running through the bang together and all that, fighting and all that, doing our thing. And the next thing I know, about a year later, after we done been gas mad times and we done went through mad stuff, um, yeah. So you know what I'm saying? After we went through mad stuff, we learned how to train our minds. You know what I'm saying? We learned how to train our minds on how to cope with the situation by having our own personal resolutions to it. So when them dudes were banging, I would sleep. And when them dudes fell asleep, I was up. And that's how I read all them books. Because I was reading books like crazy. Salute Ty Boogie. So now when I'm reading the book in class, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, yo, this book is deep, because the thing what he did was he made a philosophical explanation of the things that we go through that we don't have a meaning for. It's just things that we do out of our abilities. Because sometimes we may use a portion of our brain more than we expected to use it. This is why certain people have a talent, and that talent comes from the brain's function and concentration on something, and you having room to be able to accomplish it, because we don't use all of our brain. They say the Egyptians also were one of the peoples that were able to really go high up in there, where they actually knew how to use the whole percentage of the brain, how to master sight. Because what it's saying here is that we can't really see everything the way it's supposed to be seen, because we still have limits upon how we see things.
It's a question.
I got you, Able D. So I look at that situation and I say to myself, yeah, so what he did was he defined an action. The Aztecs too. That's a fact, Queen's Finest. You see, a lot of times we're so opinionated and so judgmental that we don't let the brain flow. We stop the brain from flowing the minute we give something judgment. Facts. That's the reason why we don't use the full capacity of our brain. Because before the brain registers and makes a 100% synopsis of something, our judgment comes in and stops it in its tracks. It's deep. And that's why I was saying to myself, there was sometimes, yo, I ain't gonna lie. There was sometimes that I got on that gate. I was bored. And I'm not saying I kicked on the gate. No. What I used to do, and Mario Machete was my, it was funny because Mario Machete was my neighbor. And Mario Machete used to be like, yo, son, oh man, how many hours you gonna hit that shit for? Because what I did was I took my mattress, I folded it around, and I took the sheets. I took one sheet and I ripped it and I made it into a rope. I took the blankets and I put it in between. Then I took the whole mattress while it was rolled up and I tied it to the gate. I took the piece of the sheet that I ripped and I tied it to the gate, and then I tied the bottom part to the gate too. So I had the mattress on the gate, but it was cushioned because I had blankets and pillows inside in the middle. Then what I did was I took two socks and I ripped them. I used my scalpel and I ripped them, made holes so my fingers would go through them. And then what I did was with a needle and thread, I had another pillow. I took the cotton out that pillow and I put the cotton on the front inside the sock, and then I rolled it around and then I sewed it. So I made pads on my hands so I could use them as to punch the bag. And I used to be slaying that bag for hours. Slaying that bag. Boom, 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 boom. And Mario Machete was next to me like, yo, damn, cat, you ain't tired yet? Yo, you ain't going to sleep? No lie, Mario used to be tight sometimes. Now not to say that he was tight, but he was like, yo, this little nigga need to stop, man, because he is wilding on that bag and that shit is rattling the gates. I used to be smashing that bag, yo. Salute DJ Shook. What DJ Shook at? He's not in? Okay. All right. Yeah, so I was sitting it for an hour and I would hit it so that I can get tired. Because sometimes I was just so hyped. So I'll do that till I get tired. And then I wash up in the sink with my rag and soap and I wash my body. I'll flood the floor. I don't care. But I'll make sure I wash up with my wash rag, clean up and all that. And then I had a pair of extra sheets that I used to keep inside the locker part. And I used to put those on, take those off, put them in a bag for laundry and send them up out of here. So that was another one of my coping mechanisms. So if I'm hyper and I'm enclosed in an 8x10 cell and I got to be in there 23 and 1, and I'm doing 9 years, throughout them years, I got to figure coping mechanisms so that my situation doesn't cause my demise. It's crazy sometimes, man, because when I used to hear dudes bugging out and getting on some crazy stuff, I even used to hear some people cry. I used to bug out like, yo, man, grown men cry. I heard it. And then I seen dudes that used to say nothing but didn't eat. I had a neighbor one time, no lie, he had around, I don't know, like 30 apples under his bed. The only thing he ate was apples. Facts. He only ate apples. He had mad apples under the bed. Some of them things was like rotten. But he had mad apples under the bed. Venezuela Reyes, the body can't use 100% of brain because the nerves can't handle all the information. The loss of gold in the bloodstream causes the banks in the body to slow down information. I think I read that in here too. Yeah, I read that in here too. You read this book? Probably got the same class as I do. But so what we do when we have coping mechanisms is that we bring out resolutions, but a lot of times We stagnate in the use of our brain because of our judgments. That's why you have what's called free thinkers. A free thinker is a person that's open-minded, and he's more out the box. And then you got a person that's a, a common thinker. That's a thinker with limits. That's what we do. We give our brain limits because of our judgments. Omicron, Einstein, he used a lot, but it cost him. He had no social life whatsoever.
What's the name of the book again? People are just coming in.
Oh, the name of the book is called Incognito: The Secret Lives of the Brain by David Eagleman. This book right here is off the meat rack, man. This is the type of stuff I read. So y'all know the things I like to read. Oh, political science, Iraq 152. Political science and double A law. Double A law is basically, you know how the shepherd dies, you could actually represent yourself, because when you represent yourself in the court, what they're gonna do is they're gonna give you what's called California was Ferretta hearing. If you don't pass that California versus Ferretta hearing, the judge could deny you representing yourself. Autistic people are the smartest. Yo, I heard that too.
Like usually, a lot of the time they're like smart, like ones that like music.
But they have limits.
Yeah.
That's what make them autistic. That they're able to master a thought, but they're limited from being to master everything. Salute, Cap. Salute, Cap. So a lot of times, I look at that and I say to myself, this is what we do. Yeah, I got that. I got that. I seen it. But this is what we do. A lot of times we limit ourselves. And the reason that we limit ourselves is because of what? We limit ourselves because of judgment.
Kev said, "Did you get his message?"
Yeah, yeah. So the main thing I wanted to reach out and say that, we gotta always have a conscious regard, because our coping mechanism is what gets us past any adversity that we face. We don't have to give mind to the adversity. We have to give mind to how do we resolute in the situation of adversity. Some people hit me up and they say, they be having issues coping with stress. I tell them the best solution for stress, the shit is crazy. The solution for stress. The solution for stress is basically you resoluting what is the cause of that stress. That's deep. What is the cause of that stress? What is, for example, some people get stressed out because they're in certain situations. So, like, for example, a person in the cell is gonna stand in the cell and look around. Is gonna say, "Yo, I'm locked up. Yo, I can't go nowhere. Yo, there's no people for me. There's no life." We caged up right now. So what you do is you make a vivid picture of your surroundings, and your surroundings starts to enclose. So your brain is working on the opposite. Your brain is working against you because you don't have control, or you're not taking control of the brain and the thought of what's around you. You're still focusing on that when you got to focus out of there. And that's the reason why people read. That's the reason why people read, because when you read, it's an escape. When I used to be reading them books, that's my word. I wasn't in jail no more. I was gone. I was on a furlough. When I used to read them books, you couldn't tell me I was locked up. I was in somewhere in that book. It got to the point where I just wanted somebody to bang and kick and flood the toilets and yell and curse and scream so I can sleep. Because I know once they go to sleep, I get to continue on in my book. Because sometimes you stay up late and you don't finish the book. And there was many nights out of those 9 years I did in the box. Out of those 9 years I did in the box, I did half a days. I mean, the first couple of years it was rough because there was a lot of wars and there was really not that much time for reading because you was banging. But then after a while, when it died down, then that's when you had that time to do that. And once I did that, I felt such at ease. That's when I started doing yoga. That's when I started meditating. I started reading a book called Taoism. And I used to sit in my cell and meditate sometimes, just sitting there, meditate. Dudes used to be calling me. I was ignoring them. Yo, cat. Yo, cat. I'm in there like this. Because what I did was when I read these books, when I read books like this, I'm so thankful. You know why? Because you're giving me more definition towards the knowledge I seek. Not one book is going to answer the question, but it takes you closer to where you're going. Because if a book can be answered if a book can answer it in one shot, then that book will be worth more than the Bible. You ever think about that? If a book can answer your question in one shot, then that book is worth more than the Bible. This is why we have books. One book here, then another book here, then another book here. You see what I'm saying? So each book that you read gives you more knowledge and takes you closer to where you're trying to get to. That's how it goes. But still we have limits. And our limits come from our judgments. Because we're raised to have judgment. When a baby is born, he looks around and all he's trying to do is understand what he sees. He has no judgment, or she has no judgment. They're just trying to understand what they're seeing. That's it. They're not saying this is good or this is bad. They're trying to see what is that. But then when they grow up older and people start to teach, their teachings come from judgments, have judgments in them. It's an ingredient towards most statements. is a judgment is one of the ingredients to most statements. What's poppin', J Money Bags? Facts. Oh, the Jim Crow law book? Yeah, I read that. I'll tell you, I read over man, there's more than 1,000 something books, bro. That's what I did. I used to stay up at night while everybody was asleep because they was tired from yelling and banging all day. And then I started playing chess. I didn't learn how to play chess on the board. I learned how to play chess in my cell. Now you bugging, like, how do you play chess in your cell when you're in there by yourself? Because I can't double bump. So, well, the way we used to do it was I'll draw a chessboard on my page. He draws a chessboard in his page. And I could be all the way in the back in 25 cell. And he could be all the way in the front in 6 cell. It don't matter. He draws a chessboard, I draw a chessboard. He picks white, or I pick white, and he picks black, or I pick black. And we numbered the squares. See what I'm saying? So, for example, we would do like 23 takes away 46. And I'll yell down the gallery, hey, yo, 26 takes 37 or whatever. And he'd be like, I took it off. Now, I started playing chess like that. I didn't learn like being physically there with the person. I learned in the box playing chess like that. I got my board, he got his board. Now, our conscious is that we see the board and we're both seeing the board the same way. Our subconscious is saying what moves you got to make and what he's going to make. And he's thinking the same thing. And we have no board. He's all the way down in 6 cell and I'm all the way back here in 25 cell. A lot of people will say, yo, how the hell they do that? That's crazy. You see what I'm saying? That's crazy. How the hell they do that? That's how we did it. Now, of course, what happens is that when you're in the box, you can't play chess with everybody. Because you got some dudes that are sore losers and they'll lie. Even though you got the black and white in your cell, they'll lie. They'll be like, yo, there was no piece there. I'll be like, yo, what you mean? What I used to do is I used to write after every move, his move and my move, I would write it down on the side of the board. You know what I'm saying? So when he says, nah, I didn't, yes, you did. That was the 6th move. The 6th move that you made was you went from here to here, and I went from here to there. And then if they're going to cheat, then you already know. They ain't going to deny nothing. They're going to start throwing franks. So you already know, like, I bet you got that. You know what I'm saying? But the ability to play chess without physically being in front of your opponent or having a physical board or pieces is one of the abilities of the brain that only in that situation will be utilized, because after that, you won't ever be able to use that again because you're going to be right. Where else are you going to do that? Unless I draw a chessboard here right now and have it on this table, and I get on the phone and I call Kev and I'll be like, yo, 25 goes to 8. And he'd be like, all right, hold up. And then he tell me, all right. And then he make his move. That'll be the only other way that cognitive thinking will be able to be used. Now, can it be used in a different way, form, or fashion? Yes. In a different form of fashion, yes. But in that particular way, nah. But those are the things you got to do. But it made time go by. So you got books. You got playing chess. Although it's kind of dangerous when you play with anybody on the gate because you don't know, unless you know the individual you playing, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Some people used to play chess on purpose just so they can get into an argument. So that's just another definition of what this man said when he said about the magicians and all that. Because then he went in and he said, the lessons here are simple, but they are not obvious, even to brain scientists. For decades, vision researchers barked up the wrong tree by trying to figure out how the visual brain reconstructed a full three-dimensional representation of the outside world. Only slowly did it become clear that the brain doesn't actually use 3D model. Instead, it builds up something like a 2.5D sketch at best. The brain doesn't need a full model of the world because it merely needs to figure it out. So what it's saying is that that's why some people are able to do more than one thing at the same time. Because they're not going to give nothing 100%. Everything is going to get a certain percentage so that they can be able to complete more than one thing at the same time. That's how people are able to multitask. See what I'm saying? People are able to multitask because they're not going to give everything 100% focus. They don't feel it needs that much. They're going to give it a percentage of the focus and continue on to the next thing and be able to accomplish more things. The only thing that's dangerous about that is that when you don't give something a lot of focus, sometimes it can bite you in the back. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that happen. Punch that like button on your way in. So, like I said, I had when I was reading them books today, I was like, whoa. All right. So what he did was he gave a definition to the things that we were doing that to us was just coping mechanisms. He gave it a scientific definition for it. You know what I'm saying? It's deep. Now, before I continue, April D hit me with the questions. She knows somebody that has guardianship over a person. So how can they deny me guardian over the property? Well, now, if you have guardianship over a person, right? Whatever possessions that person has, that is called the belongings of that person. Whether if that person has a car in their name, a house in their name, some type of benefactor in their name, and you're the guardian of that person. Along with guardianship comes what? The person's belongings. Because they're his. You're the guardianship of that person. So for example, guardianship of a person doesn't only go to the body itself. It goes to the body and whatever that body possesses. So if a person is denied, for example, let's say I'm the guardian over an old man that's 90 years old. But I'm legally his guardian right now because I'm taking responsibility for this person. Whatever that person has is part of my guardianship because you're gonna tell me that I only got guardianship over the man and not his things. If I have guardianship over him because he's not able to articulate himself to be able to put those things to use, then whatever he has is mine because he's technically under my power. It's like you giving somebody power of attorney. Facts, Brad Hauser. When you give somebody power of attorney, they have the power to do a lot of things without your permission. They don't need your permission because you gave them the power to be able to do the things that you don't feel you can do. That's what they mean by power of attorney. Or you could be pro se. That means you're able to represent yourself because you have knowledge. You know, I learned a lot of these things when I went to school. People don't cook on open fire no more. The stove does not change the chemicals in the food to the heat level needed for the stomach level down, the acid in the stomach. Okay, that's why you consider property of the state. When I got locked up, the judge feels you're not fit to guide yourself. Yeah, if you're not fit, you can't represent yourself. They're gonna test you. Believe me when I tell you, they're gonna give you a test right there in open court in front of everybody.
April T.
Okay, so now if they deny the property, then what you should do is file a claim for the property, a property claim. You file a property claim and you have the owner of the property sign off. That's how you do that. And if they don't want to turn over the property, then what happens is that the monetary value of that property is what they owe you. Now, what happens if can a third party person contest the person's power of attorney if the mind isn't right, like as in Alzheimer's or things of that nature? Only if that person is direct family member and didn't get put in as power of attorney that can go and make a case and say I am the direct cousin or I am the direct brother or something like that. They can make a case of it and they could go either way. Now, what happens to a bunch of property of a deceased person with no one to go to? Trash, free of all specific. I think the property goes to. I think the property goes to the marshals.
Where? Authority.
Huh? Back in the building. Yeah, direct descendant. Yeah, but it goes back to the to somebody in the family, I believe. But the whole thing is that if the person denies you the property, then you put in a property claim. You know what I'm saying? You put in a properties claim, and with a properties claim, then the judge is going to see if you're entitled to it. But if it's signed by the owner of that property and you have guardianship over that owner, that's going to be a no-brainer. There won't be no way out of that one for them. The state can override power of attorney. Depending. Depending. April D. Shout out, salute. Salute April D. No doubt, April D. I got you. I got you, April D. Salute. You know what I'm saying? That's what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? You gotta put in a properties claim. And when they see that properties claim, they gonna lose. They ain't got no wins in that one. They trying to put it in a surrogate account. All right, if they put it in a surrogate account, they better know the PIN number because they're gonna have to shelf the money in that account or whatever they however they put in that account. They're gonna have to up that out. The judge is gonna subpoena that now. It becomes subpoenaed by the judge because now it becomes what's called for one party mitigating evidence, for the other party aggravating evidence. For those who don't know, mitigating evidence is the things that help you. Aggravating evidence is the things that go against you. Facts, VOE stretch money. If they can prove that the person that has power of attorney is abusing their powers, that's the only time that the state can come and override the enrollment. If your name is not on the deed or the will for the property, you don't have rights to it. Unless the person is alive and you're their legal guardian and that person decides it's his decision. If he's done off, then it's different. You know what I'm saying? Because now if he's done off, of course, now the state has to make that decision. Unless somebody steps up, that's a direct descendant. Assassin B8, BX, salute, bro. That's the way that's the way it's gotta go down. You know what I'm saying? It's gotta go down in that method. Venezuela, she says stress is also caused by lack of space and lack of free and lack of nature view. People in New York City live on top of each other. In Venezuela, no matter where you're at, you see the mountains, you see green grass. I mean, I understand that point because I live in the mountains. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go down the road and all that to come out and then go 45 minutes to go into the town. But I feel more free. I feel more at peace. And I ain't gonna lie, ain't nothing like getting up and walking by the river, the lake, whatever you want to call it, being able to sit there. That's what I do in the summer, and that's my freedom. I free my mind. They say because the person wasn't honest about the two settlements, that's why they want to put it in surrogate court. That's just a way of trying to make an argument. You know, a lot of time, I'm gonna tell you, April D, a lot of time the courts get tight at that stuff like that. They feel it's a waste. New York, salute. They feel it's a waste of their money and resources. That's why the feds don't mess with nothing that ain't gonna be worth no bread. Because then it's gonna cost them bread and you're not worth they give you what's called a worth. Are you worth their money and their resources? That's the way they look at it. As I was just about to say that VOE Stretch Money. Yeah. Now, when I transitioned from the fast city horns type of life to mountains and all that, at first you're like, oh man, this is. But then you start to feel the peace. You start to see the peace, and then that's when you say to yourself, like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Salute, Blaze Blaze. That's definitely what I do. Bad Fate, what's popping? What's up, bro? How you? I had to hear this joint one more time, man. Just a little intermission, man, so we can stretch our backs. You know what I'm saying? And unwind a little bit. That's a fact, real deal. Yo, I was just looking at that thing. I had to look at it real quick. Um, I had to look at that. I had to look at that Takashi thing real quick because I saw it up, man, and they keep hitting me on my DM about it. So they saying some other dude's gonna testify. Some other dude's gonna testify. Some other dude's gonna testify, and he has to. I think it might go against him or something like that.
Who 6ix9ine? No, he got indicted.
Who?
The dude.
Oh yeah, the other dude got indicted, so they're probably gonna use him against him.
And they denied 6ix9ine house arrest or something.
Oh, they denied him house arrest. Of course, they're gonna deny him house arrest because they're gonna say that it's a threat to his life and his safety. He's supposed to go to a witness protection program. You know, the last dude that went to a witness protection program, he didn't actually go to the witness protection program. He went out there and committed more crimes. He got locked back up. Sammy. Yeah. Oh yeah. My background got better. Yeah, I just I've been fixing things up real quick. You know what I'm saying? I had to change things around. But yeah, man, so you know, I recommend these books to people, man. When you want to read a book, here's another one. This one's called The Human Instinct by Kenneth Miller. This one's called The Human Instinct by Kenneth Miller. And this one's called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. You know what I'm saying? And you know, my brother's in the army, or was in the army. And he always used to, I remember when I was locked up and he was overseas somewhere, he would send me all this army workout stuff. And I used to be doing it in the yard in the cage. Like I would go in the cage, climb up all the way to the top of the cage and do pull-ups. And of course, the police would be like, yo, you got to get down. I'd be like, yo, when I'm finished, I'll get down. Man, you ain't coming in here. See what I'm saying? Because when you come in and when you go out, you got to have handcuffs. So they got to cuff you. You go in, they close the gate, you turn around, you put your hands out, they take the cuffs off, and then you do whatever you do in that little cage. And you got to go to non-for-profit beats, VOE Stretch Money. Salute, Rob 2G, Allentown in the building, Bethlehem. That's a shout out. You know what I'm saying? So the reason I did this topic today was because I wanted to show people that we usually do not use majority of our brains because we're so judgmental about things. So we limit ourselves. We give ourselves limits. And when you give yourself limits, that's what happens. Your coping mechanism comes from you yourself resoluting the situation so that the situation doesn't overbear you. You know what I'm saying? So that it doesn't overbear you. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people that have hit me, they hit me with, I'm not gonna say they problem because I don't divulge people's medical problem because that's like a HIPAA violation. For those who don't know what HIPAA is, the HIPAA law is like the law basically that states that the doctors and the hospital they can't diverge your medical records to anyone without a HIPAA release, meaning that you're releasing or you designating someone the power to be able to view your medical documents. So the reason I say that is because some people be hitting me in the DM and they saying that they got certain issues and they trying to cope with it, and how can I help them cope with it? You know what I'm saying? So I won't say what issues or whatever they have because I'll be violating HIPAA. And I don't want to violate HIPAA because that's you can go to jail for that. You go to court for that. But I had some people that say, yo, when it rains, they get sad. I had some people that say that they going through crazy divorces. I had some people that said that their moms died, stuff of that nature. And I told them all the same thing in different ways. You know, I basically said you got to cope with the situation by having an understanding of what you can change and when you cannot, and by understanding that that situation doesn't need to grow by you adding your misery and your inability to cope to it. Because what you're doing is you adding to it. If you don't cope with the situation, you just add to the situation. But always tend to bounce back. That's a fact. I agree with that. That's how you do that, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Mercy Steve, shout out to Gorillas. Facts, Baltimore in the building. I mess with Baltimore. Baltimore in the building. Be more. And outside of reading those books, tune into Wildcat Show. That's a fact. That's true. People run and shit gets worse. Yeah, if you run from your problems, yeah, it gets worse because it becomes overbearing. Marilyn Manson? Nah. I like Def Leppard better. Oh, about religion? I mean, I spoke about religion one time and it got crazy. But I'll tell you, my version of religion is basically like this. I read the Bible backwards. To me, Genesis is not the truthful beginning. Revelations is. That's just the way I feel. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Lisa Gordon from Columbia, Maryland. You know what I'm saying? That's how yeah, I look at Revelations as the beginning, man. Because look, I look at things from beyond the scope. If in Revelation is telling you that God, when He sent the angels, He sent them to a earth that was dark and void. When you read Genesis, when He's starting life, He's starting it in a world where it's dark and void. They was here first. Why you think a lot of these movies started going backwards? Like Underworld. What was the other one that started going backwards? You had a couple of movies that started going backwards. What was the beginning of your transformation from unconsciousness to consciousness? Mhm. I would say the Bible describes ancient alien life, and people translated that into Jesus and God. That's another thing that a lot of people say too. That's why when I read that book, Behold a Pale Horse, I was bugging out because I was like, it gives you another perspective to look at. No lie. Yeah, it's in the pyramids. You got to remember when they made the pyramids and they got those chambers that look straight up into the stars. Why is they were they looking for the stars Or is it that they saw something up there that made them look at the stars? That's a fact, Rob 2G. The only thing about it being written so many times is that most of them all say the same thing, but you know, Cypress Pete. What Pete is that? The one I know is Peter Rollock from Soundview. Venezuela. She is a descendant of Coromodo. Coromodo is the oldest relic in Latin America. Coromodo saw God as a woman. Hmm. 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 I see a lot of knowledgeable people in the chat, man. Salute to the chat. Hold up. That's what I like to see. I see a lot of knowledgeable people. You know, these are the things, these are the things that we build upon. This is how we build our foundation. This is how we build our house. Yeah, real deal. I already knew about the bud part. It says it in there. And you know what's crazy? Some people will really try to argue and say that he's not talking about Bud. Who is you to say that he's not talking about Bud? Because Bud is a plant, and the plant it comes from the ground. So how do you know that he had to create? If he created a daffodil, why he ain't create Bud? Bud is not man-made. It comes from a seed and it's a plant. Krishna, the Indian god, was the same, has the same birthday, same birth from a virgin mother as Jesus. And the story was 1,000 years before Jesus. Ah, I read that too on Queen's Finest. Krishna is the one with all the arms. I read that too. One thing I did was I studied all those religions. I was reading on all religions. I was reading up with all religions at one time. I took maybe 2 years reading mad religions. I took other years doing military history, and I took other years doing Stephen King. That's how I broke up my box time. The 9 years that I did in the box, I broke it up by doing 2 years of religion, 2 years of military history. And in between all those years, I was of course doing law because you got to stay in tune. And, and I kept doing that. J Dub, ¿qué lo que? Dime a ver. Kali is the female goddess with all the arms. That's her name, Kali? Kali? The ancient Spaniards and the Africans both understood the power of alignment. But you know why they understood the power of alignment, Shook Bryant? The reason they understood the power of alignment is because they had to. Think about that. Kali, Oh yeah. Yeah, but that God is now check it. Kali. Who said Kali in here? So Kali is the Hindu goddess or Devi of death, time, and doomsday, and is often associated with sexuality and violence, but is also considered a strong mother figure and symbolic of motherly love. Now, who said Kali? Kali, she's the goddess of war. Yeah, that's a fact, PhD. Well, she's right here. Yeah, yeah. Kali is the Hindu goddess devil Devi of death, time, and doomsday, and is often associated with sexuality and violence, but is also considered a strong mother figure and symbolic of motherly love. Hmm. In later chapters, the story of two demons can be found who were destroyed by Kali. Chanda and Munda attacked the goddess. See, I like reading stuff like this too. I don't want to start reading and stuff, but I like reading stuff like that because I like reading perspectives. And that's a weed drink. She is also associated with banga. Bang. That's a weed drink. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact, DJ Silk Bryant. See, I'm ahead of the game. But see, that's what happens when you do how to do legal research. I can find something like this. You know what I'm saying? Ka- Kylie love weed. That's a fact. And where does weed come from? You heard what God said. And he planted the green pastures to grow the grass. You know what I'm saying? If God, life means men, God means woman. Hmm.
I agree.
Hey, yeah, you're going to start some shit in here, Venezuela Reyes. I'm watching you. Facts, DJ Sugar, right? But yeah, when I'm in school, that's the type of stuff that I read, man. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're in school, they make you focus on one chapter, and then you gotta just to stay ahead. I go a little further. I don't like to get caught off guard. Sometimes you're reading a book and they tell you to stop. What I do is when I come home, since I got the book, I'll continue on to read. Now when I go back tomorrow and they going into it, I already was there already. So I already know how to answer the question because I got full thought of it. I like to expand my mind so that I can really see the question for what it is and understand how to give the answer. Oh yeah, yeah. I seen that on the History Channel, Queen's Finest, the aliens thing with the on the when they was talking about the pyramids and stuff. Yeah, I looked at that. But that's also in the book, New World Order. I learned way more on my own and through my own curiosity than school ever taught me. That's a fact. But you know what? You need that paper. You know what I'm saying? You need that paper, that certification. Because I'm gonna tell you something. That I'm glad you mentioned that. Because, like, for example, in my job, I'm in my crew, I'm the only one that's certified to do what I do. Meaning I got certifications. I took courses on these things. I took tests on these things, and I had to do it according to the standards of the way they want you to do it. Like there's a certain, like for example, when you mopping the floor, it ain't just put water in a bucket and soap. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you're using chemicals, you got to use dilution ratios. So it'll be 2 drops to or 1 gallon of water. You see what I'm saying? Or half a gallon. You got to know these things because the reason they have those conversion ratios because they already know how much you need to clean the floor or to mop the floor or to wax the floor or to strip the floor. These are the things that they teach you in school. You know what I'm saying? J.E. Money, you got your 30-hour OSHA? Let me know if you're trying to work. Hit my DM. Yo, by the way, I meant to say something about that. I'm up to 25 people that I've gotten jobs or that I directed to get a job. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that's in the tri-state area or upstate and they're trying to get a job, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Let me know. That's because school is subconscious programming for society. Man, yo, Murph Loom, that is so accurate. They want to program you how to make it in society because society is already ahead of you. When you're in school, you got to learn to be like you're learning to grow so you can get to where that person. And remember you the kid that walks into the store and buys the potato chips, and then you got the dude behind the counter. And he owning the business, he running the business, he getting money, he paying bills, he got responsibilities. He's an example for you. Yeah, pay them. Hey, yo, Omicron. You gotta watch what those fines are because if I'm correct, Mayor De Blasio and Governor Cuomo, salute Ben Starr, Mayor De Blasio and Mario Cuomo, excuse me, Andrew Cuomo, rest in peace, Mario Cuomo, and Andrew Cuomo. What they did, I believe they have something about that. School is all a lot having a good memory. They don't teach. I'm not gonna say they don't teach because you know what? If you stay home and you don't interact, you're not gonna learn as much as you would when you interact. Period. Even if you're not listening to the teacher, your interactions in school with other people is teaching you how other people are, how they cultures are, and through your communication, you learn things. It's like, for example, when you listen to when you're listening to music on or looking at a video on TV, and the music is catchy, you start singing it. You see what I'm saying? Now it becomes habitual. G. It becomes habitual. Come here, boy. Come here. It becomes habitual. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my boy hungry. See that? My boy's hungry. He ready to eat that food. You eat that food, Georgie? Hmm? Yo,
Come here.
you know what I'm saying? Salute, Wayno. I got you, J Moneybags. I got you. Yeah, he's a Boston.
Half Boston, half French Bulldog.
Yeah, he's half Boston, half French Bulldog. Church ad, I'm looking to buy 10% of a restaurant in Hell's Kitchen. I just gotta take a food course because I have to manage the place a few shifts. I mean, yeah, you could do that. You could do that, but remember, in that, who is that? Matter of fact, who was that? Church Avdan. Remember that 10% can increase if you bring something forth to them that they can use that's accessible. So if I got, for example, if I got 10% in a restaurant, I'm gonna tell them of a recipe, or I'm gonna cook a plate and I'm gonna let them eat it. And then when they be like, oh, whoa, oh, this is good, I'm gonna say, listen, I'm introducing something new now. What's up? What can we do? We can let us work. Know what I'm saying? And your percentage might increase. Fact, Eric Cosme. Yo, I came home and I'm in the maintenance business. I have over 20 properties. We need to link up, get this clean money. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's where my certifications are. See, I knew the courses to take. When I was studying law, because I went to school to study law after I came out. And while I was in there, I started while I was in there because what I used to do was the home study courses through the colleges. They'll send me the books, I'll do the work, I'll mail them back to test. Then when I came out, I did transfers to other colleges, and then I went and finished my degrees. But the certifications, I knew I would need them because although in a lot of jobs it's like word of mouth and it's about that's my man and that's my cousin, that's my bro, and yada yada yada. When you have certifications, you're supposed to be put on the top because you got certifications, meaning you're certified to do that job. Not somebody that says, I know how to do it, I don't need the certification. I mean, there were some jobs that'll take you like that. But when you have a certification, it makes you more valuable and more lucrative. Got you. Now, what I got was my paralegal certificate through Blackstone. Blackstone is in Allentown, Pennsylvania, actually. They were sending me the books, the tests, and everything. Shout out Taylor Gordon, East New York in the building. That's a fact. Yeah, certification. Oh, that's a fact. Yes. Yes, that's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, I remember J.E. Money. Oh, that's a good idea, Church Avdan. I'm a property manager in Brooklyn, but I'm trying to find a live in a living superintendent position in Manhattan to be closer to the restaurant. Man, those are the best positions. Superintendent, those are the best positions. Yeah, I got you, J.E. I saw it when y'all was doing that construction in that crib. Brooklyn Networks on 4th Ave? Nah. Tell me about it. I don't mind. I would like to know. What's up with them? But yeah, yeah, yo, that's a hell of a work you're doing down there. Yeah, church half Dan, that's a fact. So what you're looking for is called residual income. Smart man. God, that's good. Ah, there he goes. Best style. Hold up a second. Can I pin this shit? I thought I saw a pin. Nah, I can't. Well, Best I said, when those jobs take someone, they don't pay them as much as the person that is certified. A lots of businesses do that so they don't have to come out of pockets too much. That's a fact. That's why the certifications are important. Mike Perez, you heard? Yeah, real deal. Superintendent job that's one of the best jobs, man. I ain't even gonna lie. A superintendent's job is one of the best jobs. Facts. Residual income is one of the best incomes. You know what? Where I first learned the residual income, I was working for a company called James S. I appreciate you, bro. Ladybug, Ladybug, you crazy. Ladybug, I appreciate you, babe. Thank you.
I put people donate if they want a cat music break. So you have to play music right now.
Okay, I got you. They want to jam a little bit. Mm-hmm. HVAC certification. That's your HVAC and asbestos. Woo! Yo, after this music break, I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna show you something. Yeah, it is real deal. But it depends what type of welding too. Copy, JE. I got you, big boy. 44438. Florida in the building. Shout out Florida. Whoa. Look at that. Salute, Almighty J. Hey, yo. I got
one more.
Yeah, I'm gonna play one more. I just want to say you got Big Boy. He got his number up there on the chat. It's 718-237-2017. He got an opportunity for people that are ex-cons to get free job training and placement.
Cable training, jobs in the movie industry, and we'll get you a driver's license. That's what he said.
Look at that. You got Daniel Rodriguez. He owns a trucking company. 22 trucks, and out of them 22, 15 of them jobs as a driver, they're ex-cons. Long as you can get your CDL and pass a drug test, you got a job with me. Another opportunity. Look at that. See what we do? That's what we do here at the Wildcat Channel. We help each other. On the next one, Brad. On the next one, because I got music coming out. Matter of fact, I gotta try to put it up so everybody will hear it. Yeah, I see they linking. Matter of fact, check it while y'all linking. I want to know where y'all from, man. I want to know where y'all from. Where y'all from, man? I want to know where y'all from, man.
I just like this.
Got the 804 in the building. East New York is in the building. Let's go. Shout your hood out. Portland, Oregon's in the building. Seattle's in the building. Oakland. Ooh, Oakland in the building. Shout out Oakland, Bay Area. Maryland, 585 in the building. DC 202, BX, East New York, Jersey, 183rd and Crescent. Hold up. Caracas in the building. Perth Amboy, Pickett and Sutter, 183rd, you heard? Free the Stud. Fred the Stud came through with the fist pump. Hey, yo. Shout out Fred the Stud. North Carolina, New York City, Bronx, Fordham, 188. The Bronx is in the building. Jacksonville, Florida. Harlem, Maryland. BX and Soundview in the building. Shout out my nigga Pistol Pete. Sex, Money, Murder. Hybrids. San Jose de las Matas. Left Rack City. Jersey City.
I just like the sound.
Daniel Rodriguez, you from my block. Oh, 187 in Prospect. Cypress Projects, Sutter Ave, 2050. Brat, the caveman side. Maryland. Albania in the building. Shout out my Albanians. Brooklyn. West Side Merrick in the building. Facts. West Farms in the building. Troy, New York is in the building. Merrick, New York, South Side. South Side. Shout out Richmond Hill, South Ozone Park. Liberty Ave. Shout out my son Slim. Shout out my nigga Junior. Shout out my nigga Goldie. 196 in Marion, Kingsbridge in the building. Big up Albania, that's a fact. Crotona, 183rd. The Gulf of Florida's up in here. Orange County up in here. Shout out Middletown.
I just like the sound.
Shout out my neighbors, although they far away. Shout out my neighbors. La Aguila. Shout out Dominican Republic, Santo Domingo. Shout out Puerto Rico. 121st and 4th, North Troy. Shout out Rochester. Shout out Buffalo. Shout out Newburgh. That's a fact. We in the building. The Rock Boys is up in here.
Poughkeepsie.
Huh?
Poughkeepsie.
Poughkeepsie's in the building. Newburgh. Shout out Newburgh. Middletown, Poughkeepsie. That's a fact. Yeah, y'all. So basically, man, today's topic was about the subconscious and the conscious. So I broke it scientifically, explained it realistically, and as you see right here, physically. There was always a way to cope, so don't never give up. If you get down, make sure you make yourself get back up. You heard the key word, though. You got to make yourself. So before you rely on anybody else, make sure that you keep Christian ass Salute Magoo. Facts, Salute Magoo. I love my boy. So before you ask for assistance, make sure you're able to help yourself first. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you're able to look at your surroundings, not for what it's meant to do to you, but how you're able to overcome it. And always, and don't never forget, always remember that you're a piece of steel. Don't let no one break you. The minute you let someone break you, that's when you're done. Shout out to everybody in the chats, man. And shout out to all the people in the chats, all the people that contribute in the chats. Shout out to all the people in the chats that contribute not only their resources, but their knowledge also. Shout out my wrenches, man, holding down the chat, making sure them trolls get mashed up out of here. You know what I'm saying? As you can see, it's about to hit midnight, and we still 63 strong. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to have 100. I mean, it would be great to have 100 people in here, but at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. You know why I say the numbers don't lie? Because I bet you it's going to be about 900, 800 by the time this is over. It'll already hit a stack by 5 minutes.
But these are the loyal ones.
You know what I'm saying? But what I had in here, right? What I had in here, what makes the difference is what I had in here is what I had. I had people in here that had minds, that had knowledge, and that had resources. And what we did, we took an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we made it worth something because everybody contributed today. So today's chat is about us, that we subconsciously united and all helped each other so we can consciously see the results of our unification. Salute. Let's get it. Top Boogie TV. Respect the conglomerate. That's a fact. Y'all should all be thanking yourselves too. Because this was a us thing today. And we all should be appreciated because that's what we do. Let's get it.
Hot boy.
Yeah, pistol game is a funny dude.
Hot boy. Hot boy.